Can we listen to that one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen to that one small voice? Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. It's a journey. It begins with a step in times of uncertainty. Wisdom comes from within, clarity. You know we're not alone or lost. Listen to your heart and to God, to your heart. Can we listen to that one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen? Yeah, to that one small voice. Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. Faith like oil takes the friction out of life. Take the action. Pray every night, aligned with spirit. Well, you know the reason why. And listen to your heart and to God, to your heart. Can we listen to the one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen to the one small voice? Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. God is gonna guide you. God is gonna guide you. Love will always find you. Love will always find you. God will always guide you. God will always guide you. Love is on the side you. Love is on the side you. Can we listen to that one small voice? Can we listen? heart? Can we listen to that one small voice? Listen to your heart, oh my God, to your heart. Can we listen to that one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen? Yeah, to that one small voice. Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart. All time. Can we listen to the one small voice? Can we listen? Listen to your heart. Can we listen to the one small voice? Listen to your heart, to your heart, to your heart.
Hello again, dear ones, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Denver online Sunday service. We are a loving, prospering community in the heart of Capitol Hill and online. And as we remain online for hopefully just a couple more months, stay in touch with our community via our newsletter. If you're not already receiving it, we only send one per week. Sign up at our newsletter over on the website csldenver.org. And remember, all of our practitioners would love to pray with you. We celebrate the wins in your life, and we help you to process the stuff you don't really like in your life. Head over to the website csldenver.org, check out the roster of practitioners, and learn how you can start working with a professional practitioner to create the life you truly desire. And remember, today, right after our service, we have our weekly Zoom fellowship. This happens right at the top of the hour, 11 a.m. Mountain Time. If you have a link from a previous service, go ahead and use that. Or if you need a new link to get into the Zoom room, just send an email to info@csldenver.org. We'll make sure we get you a link before the end of today's service. Hey, with the summer months coming, remember, wear your sunscreen, drink extra water, and plan now to hang out with CSL Denver as we look for new ways to stay in touch. If you have an idea for an outdoor event, a backyard barbecue or picnic, or some other way we can stay together socially throughout the summer, please let us know. Send an email, info@csldenver.org, and share your ideas with us. Let's get back into the music with more by Freddie Rodriguez Jr.
So I can be the kind of man that God wants me to be. Visioning, so I can see the kind of life that God wants me to be. Visioning, so I can see God's way of life for me. Ooh, visioning, I can see how wonderful this life can be. It's inside of me, it's planned for me. All I got to do is trust me. Visioning, visioning, visioning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Teresa Cardenas, practitioner with CSL Denver. So if it feels comfortable this morning, just relax and lean back and close your eyes and join me in this invocation. We enter that space of silence, yet there is so much power, so much peace in this silence. We enter into the knowing of this energy that is energizing, it is omniscient, it is constantly there. It is the energy that helps unfold us, that helps transform us. It is nurturing, and it blankets us in the knowledge that we are part of a greater whole. And so I just know this morning that the music and the message and the reading and the technology that's going on in the background and all the volunteers that make this service happen are blessed, and that we move this service into the community knowing that it is rippled out into a larger community, into the world. We know it is healing and loving. We know that all that is unfolding on the planet is happening for the highest and best good. And I know that we just honor each other as we move forward today, whether we're honoring spirit in a mosque, in a church, in a synagogue, or in nature. And so we bless this space, bless this time, bless this moment together. And so it is. Our reading today comes from the Daily Om, and it is called Working with a Larger Energy. The expression going with the flow is a metaphor that applies to navigating a river. When we go with the flow, we follow the current of the river rather than push against it. People who go with the flow may be interpreted as lazy or passive, but to truly go with the flow requires awareness, presence, and the ability to blend one's own energy with the prevailing energy. Going with the flow doesn't mean we toss our oars into the water and kick back in the boat, hoping for the best. Going with the flow means we let go of our own personal, individual agenda and notice the play of energy all around us. We tap into that energy and flow with it, which gets us going where we need to go a whole lot faster than resistance will. Going with the flow doesn't mean that we don't know where we're going. It means that we open to multiple ways of getting there. We are also open to changing our destination, clinging more to the essence of our goal than to the particulars. We acknowledge that letting go and modifying our plans is part of the process. Going with the flow means that we are aware of energy that is larger than our small selves, and we are open to working with it, not against it. Many of us are afraid of going with the flow because we don't trust that we will get where we want to go if we do. This causes us to cling to plans that aren't working, stick to routes that are obstructed, and obsess over relationships that aren't fulfilling. When we find yourself stuck in these kinds of patterns, do yourself a favor and open to the flow of what is rather than resisting it. Trust that the big river of your life has a plan for you and let it carry you onward. Throw overboard those things that are weighing you down. Be open to revising your maps. Take a deep breath and move into the current. And Ernest Holmes reminds us, never limit your view of life by any past experience. Our task is to begin to understand that the universal mind is resident everywhere and also of necessity within us. Our prayer is that the truth be made known, that it cannot fail to be revealed. And now more music from Freddie Rodriguez. Enjoy.
You dwell within my soul, change my life profoundly as me, with me divinely. You orchestrate my life, your way is my highway as me, with me divinely. As me, through me, loving and divinely. As me, through me, loving and divinely. Your everlasting arms, you catch me when I'm falling. As me, through me, divinely. With you, you make me last, make me what I am. As me, through me, divinely. As me, through me, loving and 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 divinely.
And hello again, dear ones. Reverend Robert with you here on a Sunday morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so grateful you're with us this morning and able to be here. And I thank you for having me back again and again and again. I don't get to spend anywhere near as enough time with this community as I would like. And I want you to know I am so looking forward to the emergence or the re-emergence of your community into the world, into the Denver community in a greater way. I keep knowing, and you're in my prayers every day, that we're emerging into this next whatever it's going to be, and that's happening real soon. So thank you for being with me today. I want to thank you again for having me. Our topic today, vision of the future. And this has been part of this whole series this month where we're looking at the vision. And what I want you to know is it's been a really rich series of discussions from my perspective as a minister, watching and listening to the information and the speakers you guys have between Reverend Elzia this month and Reverend Mark. It's a tough act to follow sometimes because these guys lay down the law. They lay it out there in a way that really, I believe, makes it fairly simple and easy to follow. And I'm going to try to do that as well. Now, we do have some quotes from our global theme committee in Centers for Spiritual Living, and I'd like to get us kick off with one of those quotes here today. This is Ernest Holmes. There is a center in you that already knows. Develop the consciousness that flows from this center, for it is the secret place of the Most High within you. There is a center in you that already knows. Develop the consciousness that flows from this center, for it is the secret place of the Most High within you. Now, I love this quote, and anytime I hear of that phrase, the secret place of the Most High, in biblical terms, that was where the presence of God resided, the secret place of the Most High. I believe, for me, that translates, and I invite you to take this on, as the personal place of the recognition, that personal space where I come to recognize the divine as it operates in me, and the divine as it operates in the infinite, in the world, in all of it. And so when I consider my personal recognition of the divine in the greater world, it's I like to do that through our spiritual practices: meditation, contemplation, visioning, spiritual life treatment, journaling, out walking in nature, in the world, a labyrinth walk perhaps. Wherever you find yourself, I'm going to invite you, and this philosophy invites you to recognize that right there is the divine. Right there is the divine. And in that exact moment, in whatever experience it is that's going on in your life, whatever experience is happening in your world, there is that center of wisdom, that center of information. Happening, and all these various pieces and parts of the concert are coming together in what might sound like a cacophony. And if you've ever listened to a large orchestra prepare and tune up, it can sound like chaos. But then just like that, everything comes into alignment, and there we are. It's all working. Now, having a personal recognition of the divine, being able to be in that center, to be centered in that secret place of the Most High, I believe as religious scientists, we do that pretty well. I think we do that fairly well. Now, anytime I use that term, I like to clarify just a little bit, because when I first came into this philosophy, when I first found this philosophy of New Thought and the Center and the Science of Mind, and what at that time was known as the Church of Religious Science, I was attracted to the idea of being a religious scientist. Now, I don't have a scientific degree. I don't have a strong scientific dual blind study background, but there was something to me that always said, yes, we are here to experiment with these principles, with our lives, if you will, and determine what works, and then repeat what works. And what doesn't work, get rid of it. And if what works today doesn't work 3, 4, 5 years from now, then that's okay. I don't have to hold on to what doesn't work anymore just because it did work at one time. I can let go of what no longer works to make room for things that will work. The next evolution of work, of whatever that might be. You following? So I always thought that we did that really well. We, as religious scientists, we've done very, very well at using these principles to experiment in our own lives, to prove to ourselves that this stuff really works. Have you ever heard yourself say that? Have you ever shared that with a friend? This stuff really works. Or shared that with another religious scientist. My God, this stuff really works. You're never going to believe what happened yesterday. I believe one of the strongest places we can come to in consciousness is not to be surprised when this stuff really works, but to be in a place of knowing, deep knowing, every moment of every day, that no matter what's going on in my life, no matter where I am, no matter what's happening, it has to be working. It can't be not working. This thing called life, the law, must always be working. See, in our statement that Ernest Holmes talks about, he uses this word, develop the consciousness that flows. Now that word flows, consciousness flows. That implies action. That implies that once the consciousness is there, it's going to flow into something. Into what? Those that have been around this year and listening to me talk, you might know what 2 words are about to come out of my mouth. Inspired action. Where does our consciousness lead us? To inspired action. If the consciousness changes, then the events around us, our experiences are bound to change. Let's do so consciously with inspiration, inspiring ourselves, inspiring others. This is not a game of let's sit and watch and wait it out. Life, what we're up to. Supporting humanity and awakening to its own spiritual magnificence. One heartbeat at a time. Or more, maybe. It's not a game of sitting and waiting and watching and wondering and, oh, praise be and please drop a gold brick in my hand. And no. None of that. We have to be active in the demonstration of this mighty philosophy that we know intellectually can change the world, can change everything. In my prayer work, there is a statement that originated in Holmes, and I paraphrase it a little bit, but basically what he's saying is that Spirit, God, the Almighty, whatever name we want to call it, is one self-existent cause. Now, a cause puts something in motion. God is one self-existent cause that is forever taking on form, and at some point abandoning that form so it may take on new form. I add the word experience. Holmes started with form. I want us to consider that he stopped a little short there, or maybe it's in another paragraph and I didn't see it. We first cause, that one self-existent cause, is forever taking on form and experience. and then abandoning those forms and experiences in order to take on new forms, provide new experiences, new opportunities for you to step up and say, hey, this is what is, wow, this gets me jazzed. Oh man, this is where I want to play. This is where I want to be a part of it. Inspired. If our spiritual practices, your spiritual practices, my spiritual practices, if we're doing all of this thing called life and it's not leading us to inspired action, then we're just sitting around waiting and watching and wondering. We have to be about that which is ours. Now, how do we know that which is ours? Well, we've got some practices. I love visioning. I'm a big one on visioning. But I want us to first hear the words of Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, Reverend Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith. As long as you are on the planet, you are here to deliver your gifts, your talents, and your skills with confidence and inner authority, withholding nothing. Nothing. You are on the planet. Are you on the planet at this moment? Yes. Are you here delivering your gifts? Yes. Your talents? Yes. Your skills? Yes. Are you doing it with confidence and inner authority? Yes. Are you withholding nothing? Yes. If there were any, well, I don't know. I'd like to do that a little more. It's okay. Don't beat up on yourself. Don't judge yourself for that. It takes countless people, countless years to get to the point where we wake up to some of these facts and we demonstrate them. And that is the key, to be demonstrating them. You're going to hear me say it again and again and again. You are on the planet. And here's that action word: to deliver your gifts. Not to just talk about them, not to just, put them in a nice, put them as keywords inside your bio or whatever. No, to take action on that. Where your great gifts meet your great, where your great gladness meets the world's great hunger. That is where we were being called to show up. Withholding nothing. Not playing small, but playing large, playing big. Being big for God. And so in many ways, Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living, we bring this down to the global heart vision. And part of what we're talking about in that global heart vision is humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence, where everyone awakens to their own magnificence, where everyone awakens to a recognition that those innate gifts and skills and talents, those things that are yours and yours to give and only yours to give, well, that we absolutely, the necessity of humanity not only requires that I give of those gifts and skills and talents, but that I encourage you to do the same. That I am an avenue, a champion for you or those around me or whoever it is. That I'm not just getting myself healed. I'm not just healing me, but through my own healing, through my own evolution, through my own growth, through stepping into my personal vision for myself, I am able to uplift and inspire and support the grander vision, the bigger vision, that is a world that works for all. That is a world that works for everyone. And so I say this quite often, and you may have heard it more than once. It's all about the questions we're asking. And I have long forgotten where I picked this one up from. I'm sure it was a ministerial colleague of someone. The quality of your questions is directly correlated to the quality of your life. In all of our spiritual practices, we receive that information. We envisioning, we get to ask the questions. We ask powerful, important questions. And I want to encourage each and every one of you to remember that visioning as a spiritual practice is not just for the collective. It's not just for the community or the organization that we happen to be a part of. This past week, I was talking with a coaching client of mine, a private coaching client that I work with, and we've been working together for quite a long time now, and she's become very adept at the visioning process, and she was sharing with me how she's been on a visioning quest in her business, and every morning she brings one new piece of the puzzle to bear in visioning. So she's not just visioning for the highest ideal of our movement. She's not visioning for the highest ideal of her business. She's not just in the highest ideal for her life. Those are great, powerful ways to vision. She's getting into it and saying, what's the highest vision for the marketing department of my company? What's the highest vision for the promotion or for this aspect or that aspect? And we can be doing the same for this community. For ourselves. Yes, we are always in that vision. What's the highest for my life? What's the highest? What's my work to be doing? What's my soul's purpose? And that is well and great and grand and good. And I do that every Monday morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Free, live on Facebook, YouTube, part of the New Thought Media Network. Come find us. Come check it out. Free visioning every Monday morning at 7, where we look at the big questions for our own lives. And there are times when we must give of that knowledge, of that wisdom, of that insight that flows through us in our own unique way to the larger, to the collective. In the coming months, Center for Spiritual Living Denver is being called to re-emerge into the collective community that is Denver and Colorado in a new and powerful and different way. The vision is leading you that way. Where is your vision leading you? Where is your vision for your life leading you? The quality of your questions is directly correlated to the quality of your life. So if you're asking questions like, why me? Well, you're going to get victim energy in your life. You're going to spend eternity hearing why you. Here's why, because it's all that self-judgment, all those self-questions. Here's a question. What love action would you take if you knew that Spirit absolutely's got your back? That you knew there was no question God's got your back. What action, what love-inspired action to serve humanity would you take, knowing God has 100% got your back? No questions. And that anything that was necessary, any connections or opportunities or resources, people, finances, whatever it is, would meet that need in the exact moment that it is necessary. What would it be like to really live from that? What divine urge is seeking to express itself through you? What gift are you here to give that no one else can give? Now, you may think somebody else can give it. It may look like you're going to give the same gift, and maybe you're a speaker, or maybe you're a teacher, or maybe you've got a crafting business, or maybe whatever, or a service business where you're helping spiritual communities grow and expand through marketing or email, whatever, blah, 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 all the stuff that we do in the world, all the stuff that we don't realize it's serving a greater purpose. Let me tell you, if you at all question, it is. Whatever you're doing is serving a greater purpose because it's bringing you to a greater understanding of yourself. And when you understand yourself, you can serve the evolution of human consciousness and therefore the evolution of human experience. I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not. Love, compassion, you know all of this stuff. Remember, there is a center in you that already knows. I'd like to share a quick story before I begin to wrap this up for you today. Many years ago, I was a practitioner of this wonderful philosophy and a ministerial student. And and was doing quite a lot of spiritual counseling and work and coaching at that time, and had a client come to me. And what I will say is, in the moment, my heart and my humanness, just like, this is too big. This is too big for me. I don't have what it takes to do this, to handle this whole issue, everything. This is too big. And so I went to Dr. Roger Teal, who was the dean of the school and the spiritual leader of Mile High Church at that time. And I got with him, and I said, I told him that, I said, this feels like it's just too big. And he smiled, and he leaned back on his heels just a little. He looked at me. He said, Robert, I just got to remember, brother, there's nothing too big for God. And I got that. And whether it's a challenge you're facing, whether it's a question you don't know how to answer, whether it's a vision you don't know what to do with, or where to go next, how to fulfill this, or whatever, there's nothing too big for God. There is a center in you that already knows. We just got to remember. We just got to develop that consciousness that remembers we have a personal relationship with the divine. We have, you have, I have, we all have direct access to the divine. No intercessor necessary. Doesn't have to be translated. Don't got to put it in an email and hope they're going to see it and answer sometime in the next week or month, or get a response that, I'm sorry, I don't do that on Tuesdays or Mondays or whatever day. Not to make any of that wrong. That's just not how it works. We live in this indwelling, close contact with the secret place of the Most High, our personal recognition of the divine. And if we recognize it, then we have access to it. If we have access to it, we can direct that. And if we can direct that, then we are creating the life we truly desire. And as I create the life I truly desire, it's no fun if I don't have a lot of friends hanging around doing it too. Being a part of it and working together as one community. What divine urge is seeking to be expressed through you, through this community? Let's go do that. Let's go do that. Whatever it is that's in your heart right now, let's do that. You do that. I'll do what's in my heart. Everybody in the room, do what's in your, you do that. And I believe together, we're going to create a world that works for everyone. Because the bend of nature, the call of nature is towards creation, is towards life, is towards the fun and the good and of it all. Not towards the suffering and the sorrow and the destruction. Towards the good. Towards working towards a world that works for everyone. So I have a very powerful mantra I want to share today. I invite you to just be in that place. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. I'm going to share the mantra a few times and move us into prayer, move us into a place of spiritual mind treatment. But before we do, I want you to know you are the divine taking form. You are the divine demonstrating a grand vision. You are divine. And so our mantra, our affirmation for this week, divine vision flows powerfully as my life. I invite you to speak that aloud into whatever room you're in right now. Divine vision flows powerfully as my life. And now let yourself hear those words. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. Divine vision flows powerfully as your life. And what I know is I know divine vision flows powerfully as my life, as all life. as the lives of each and every one in this room, in this sanctuary, this digital virtual sanctuary, everyone that may be watching this on a rebroadcast at a later time in another dimension, no matter where, no matter what, one human family expressing the divine, that divine oneness, that divine allness, the everything, the Alpha and the Omega. Call it God or Buddha or Brahma or Yahweh, Vishnu, Kuan Yin, source energy, no matter the name, no matter the image, the oneness reveals itself as your life, as my life, as the lives of everyone in this congregation, everyone that's being attracted to this sacred community, everyone a part of the Denver area and the metro area, moving out across the plains and the mountains, moving out encompassing all of Colorado and the United States, North America, Canada, Mexico, down into South America and the southern hemisphere of this planet, wrapping this recognition around the planet, all across this entire planet. Everywhere there is God. Nowhere on this planet is there not God. Nowhere is God absent or missing or just asleep on the job. No. The oneness is revealing itself moment by moment by moment by moment, with every heartbeat, every breath, every cry of laughter, every tear of sorrow. That is God bringing itself into form magnificently in awe-inspiring ways, sometimes in very, very confusing ways, sometimes ways that make me go, what? But no matter what I know is it is God. It is the divine. And so that allness is expressing as my life perfectly, whole, complete, nothing missing, nothing absent. I know that same truth of your life, the lives of everyone that hears these words. And together, collectively, we are raising up a vibration of this oneness, raising up a vibration of love and light and unity and compassion and health and wealth and well-being and abundance and prosperity, raising up a consciousness, a vibrational consciousness of good. Of good. And knowing that consciousness must flow into experience, we claim that good in all the aspects of our lives. In every moment, in every event, in every experience, we seek to see the eyes of God. We seek to hear the words of God. We seek to see the spark and the creation and the breath of God. And know that God's got our back. That there's no concern too big, no vision too big to be fulfilled through this mighty power of the Word, God's creative force, as our lives, through our lives, with our lives. So I know this divine vision cannot be withheld, cannot be detoured, cannot be damned or destroyed. This grand vision must reveal itself and must flow into experience. There's nothing that can stop it. So I'm getting on board and going to go with the flow and witness a demonstration of a vision of a world that works for everyone, where everyone awakens to their spiritual magnificence. Life is good, life is grand, life is glorious. And I am grateful to be witness to it, to be a part of it, to be serving it, to be demonstrating it, to empowering it, to activating it, to being love. And so from this place of deep, deep gratitude, I release this word into the law, that universal law that must demonstrate, that must manifest this word according to my beliefs, the beliefs of the collective that agree with me here. And if you are in agreement, please join me in that collective affirmation as we say together. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you, dear ones. Thank you so much for being with me. I look forward to seeing you again and again and again real soon. And let's go back over to Teresa. Bye. Peace out.
Thank you, Robert. So we're moving into our offertory, and we are so grateful and blessed for everyone's support of CSL Denver, whether it's in time, treasure, or talent, and especially during this time of change. Whether this is your first time joining us or you are a returning community participant, We want to thank you for your continuing financial support of the important work we are striving to provide you. Right now, there are several ways you can make your financial contribution to Center for Spiritual Living Denver. This information is running along the bottom of the screen. If you haven't already done it and you shop at King Soopers and or Amazon Smile, you can link your account to Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Our center will then receive a percentage of all proceeds. Email us if you would like more information on this option. Now please repeat with me our usual affirmation. This perfect gift is spirit in form, circulating and blessing all that it touches. Freely I give and joyously I receive. Thank you, thank you. And now we have some announcements before we depart this morning. Here at CSL Denver, we want you to know that we are here for you to celebrate or hold a space for you. Please know that our practitioners are available for prayer work with you. We would love to pray with you for celebrations or challenges. Our names and phone numbers are on our website at www.csldenver.org. Or if you have a prayer request, please email it to info@csldenver.org. As mentioned at the beginning of the service, we are having our virtual fellowship on Zoom this morning. We would love for you to come join us at fellowship and let us know how you're doing. If you did not receive the Zoom invitation earlier this morning, please send an email to info@csldenver.org and mention fellowship, and we'll send you a Zoom invitation right away. We are hoping we can get back together soon in person as soon as our building opens up. But in the meantime, we're planning some classes and events. So if you're not on our mailing list already, please send an email to info@csldenver.org and ask to be put on our mailing list. We promise to only send you one email a week letting you know what's going on. New Thought Media Network also has a lot of other programs by different practitioners and ministers. Check them out on Facebook and YouTube. Meanwhile, we hope you have a wonderful week and affirm right here and right now that 221 is blessed and perfect in all that it is. We love you and miss you. Please take care of yourselves, and let's close out with more music from Freddie Rodriguez Jr. with Sky's the Limit.
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. We're ascending. Spread your wings, 'cause God is guiding us through the dark clouds, waves on the open sky. And if we want one chance, the moons are wide. Let's all receive. God gives our desires. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Spirit opens the sky and guides away we fly with the flight plan that's graced. Through fear we'll be safe. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Spirit opens the sky and guides away we fly with the flight plan that's graced. Through fear we'll be safe. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Spirit opens the sky and guides the way we fly. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Spirit opens the sky, guide the way we fly. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Spirit opens the sky, guide the way we fly. With a plan that's grace, fear will be saved. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. Spirit opens the sky and guides the way we